Welcome to Cosmere Chronicles. I'm Joe, and joining me today will be Justin and Sheta. How are you two doing today?
I'm doing
Good.
swell.
All right. For those of you that are just joining in for the first time on this first episode, this is going to be a Cosmere podcast where we'll be taking two new Cosmere readers through the Cosmere. I myself, I have read the Cosmere once, but that's it. I am not an expert in any way. I don't really listen to too much Cosmere stuff besides similar, one or two similar podcasts to this. So I am not going to know everything, but I'll certainly know more than these two. So let's get used to them first before we all laugh at them for making predictions wrong. First, we'll go over to Justin.
Hello.
Justin, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
I draw comics, and that's about all that's interesting about me.
All right. What about any sort of fantasy or other books and stuff that you've read?
Well, my knowledge of fantasy is not much more expansive than your average person. I've, read Song of Ice and Fire. I've watched through Lord of the Rings, as everyone has. Various other bits and pieces that everyone knows. And I've played Dragon Age. That would be my other big fantasy thing I'm aware of.
All right. And then over to Sheta. What about you? What do you want to tell the public about yourself?
I'm also an artist and big fantasy fan. So, but I've never heard of this series actually. So, I also read Song of Ice and Fire. Big Harry Potter fan. Witcher series. Big Tolkien fan. And I guess I played Dragon Age 2 and Fable and play D&D. That's mostly where all my fantasy stuff comes from.
All right. Well, my name's Joe. I've read a lot of fantasy as well. Same thing. Song of Ice and Fire I've read. Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion. I've read Wheel of Time. I've read the first of the First Law trilogy. I haven't read anything else because it's not really my cup of tea. How to pick up... Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? That's a Japanese series. Not what people would expect from the title. And, I've read all the Cosmere stuff. And probably other fantasy along the way.
If we're going to anime and stuff, I guess I can toss in a Goblin Slayer as well. That would be about as far as I know that.
All right. Now, I'm going to ask you two, what do you two know about, Brandon Sanderson? And also, what do you know about the Cosmere?
Well, I know there's a writer named Brandon Sanderson, and I know Cosmere is a word, and now I know it is the Cosmere, and that is about the extent of what I know.
I think with me, I feel very ignorant about any of his books, but I'm really excited. It seems like a really big world, so.
I saw one at a bookstore once, and so I know he's written a number of books.
Well, before we go into anything else, I'll just dive a little bit into, Brandon Sanderson. Nothing. He's read plenty of fantasy as well. He did go to Brigham Young University, and a fun fact while there, one of his roommates in college was Ken Jennings, who would later go on to have a 74-game win streak on Jeopardy!
So I can assume it's going to be a lot like Jeopardy then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but Brandon, he's written a lot of series, mostly, fantasy. He's written, also stuff targeted towards young adults. And then he's also the one where after Robert Jordan passed away, Brandon Sanderson's the one who was brought in to finish the Wheel of Time book. So he wrote the final 3 books of Wheel of Time.
Oh, okay.
So this guy pretty much writes 24/7. Is that what I'm hearing then?
In fact, yes. He's
sounds like it.
He, like Stephen King, finishes books.
Okay.
He's the one where
end books. That's the question. If you're comparing him to Stephen King,
can he what?
Can he end books? Like
Yes.
end them satisfactorily.
Yes.
He ended the Wheel of Time stuff, so
Yep.
there's that.
And I mean,
for all I
mean,
know,
when
he just phoned it in. I don't know this guy.
I mean, when COVID happened and when the pandemic happened, he wound up to pass his time, wrote 4 novels.
4,
And-
Jesus.
And,
Yeah, what did you do?
and those all got released in 2023. Just on it, he just announced that, yep, I wrote 4 books in secret and released them for everybody.
In secret.
Cool.
Yeah,
I wish I did that.
Well, I like him already.
Yep.
Until you read the first book and then hate it, and then you realize you got to read like 50 more.
We'll see.
Well, we started with Elantris, which was Brandon Sanderson's very first published book,
Oh,
That's
cool.
published April 2005.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I assumed he was from like the 80s.
No, he
Oh, jeez.
was born in 75.
Oh, what was he doing in the between 75 and 2005?
Living it up.
Going to school and going to college.
Yeah, but still. What was he doing in the late 90s? Just writing that one book?
He would have been in college. He has because he went to BYU, biochemistry major. Then he left from let's say 95 to 97. He was in South Korea for missionary for the.
That answered that.
Then when he came back, he switched to an English major. He has a master's in it, and he still once a year goes back to BYU and he teaches the science fiction and fantasy portion of the creative writing class at Brigham Young.
Oh, cool.
So he's able to write all these books while still going back to teach.
I have to say, it always pisses me off when they mix sci-fi and fantasy into a category like that. But we'll see. I'm curious to see if his stuff is more outside of the one genre than if he's doing that.
Oh yeah, is this sci-fi and fantasy or just fantasy? Or spoilers?
With Elantris, most of the stuff I'd say would be pretty much straight fantasy. There's going to be I'm trying to think. Some of the books may have some sci-fi elements to them, and I don't know what he's going to write in the future too. But especially Elantris is much more just fantasy.
Okay, yeah, because the title kind of looks like or sounds like Atlantis, so it's giving me kind of sci-fi vibes.
Why would Atlantis give you sci-fi vibes instead of fantasy vibes?
Because there's a science element to it.
In what?
In Atlantis, the movie.
Yeah, in what?
With Milo Thatch, Disney's Atlantis.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, and I always didn't like that. So, like the sci-fi element. So,
I guess you could say Stargate Atlantis too.
yeah, that's the other one.
Well, going to the title of the book, so it's Elantris. The title originally when he was writing it was called Spirit of Adonis. But I guess some of the people in his writing group, they would read it and then they were then questioning, it because it had nothing to do with Greek mythology or the Greek stuff, and that's when Brandon, when he wrote it, completely forgot that Adonis has to do with Greece.
Did he think he just made up the word?
What did he say? I think he was saying something about how, he's just thinking of like, just like the word, like an Adonis, like a perfect person, stuff like that. And he forgot that comes from something else.
That's
interesting. So then later he changed the name to Spirit of Elantris. And finally, like his friends, and I think maybe his editor convinced him to just shorten it to just Elantris.
So it's like modern day Prometheus, where no one ever remembers that that's part of the book title.
Yeah. And also, this book, if you want to know, it did from the magazine Romantic Times. It did win for that year the Best Epic Fantasy Award.
Oh, romantic, like high romance, not like books about people boning, right?
Romantic Times is like a top like romance like review magazine.
Okay. So it is romance.
Romantic Times was an American genre magazine specializing in romance novels.
All right.
That magazine ended in 2018. So now what we're gonna do, now it's gonna have you guys your first impressions from the cover and everything. They haven't read anything of the book yet, so we'll just see. I'll be putting pictures in, and then they will give their thoughts. So right here, this is going to be the main cover of the book.
Is it the original cover? Oh, yeah, go on.
Yeah. This is what's been used for the original cover, the hardcover, mass paperback, and the 10th anniversary book. So if you guys just want to describe what you're looking at and what.
Oh, yeah, because they can't see it.
No, they can't.
All right, we got a cool, broody looking guy in a big red cape. Then we got a girl who's dressed all medievally. They're looking at some orbs in front of a giant castle thing. That's my description. What do you got, Sheta?
Well, I definitely get more sci-fi vibes from this cover too, because it's a lot. The buildings are more or less organic and more structured than I would have thought. And the orbs kind of look sci-fi too, but with still got some like pillars and things that are kind of more elven-y, which is cool. Yeah, it's really unique. I've never seen a fantasy thing like this before, so I'm excited.
Is that tower floating back there, or does it just look like it? You don't have to answer, Joe. I'm just looking at it and wondering. Yeah, I like all the buildings. They look cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got.
Now, right here, this will be the cover they used for the audiobook.
That looks like an audiobook cover. You describe it, Sheta.
First we have a corridor with a lot of arching walls or ceilings, and then a broody pair of eyes. One blue and the other side of the face is all cracked and grayed out. I don't know what that means.
One's more flush, one's more pale. Like he's got a two-faced thing going. But yeah, the corridor looks very spooky and cool. This Elantris font on the top is very hard to read.
See, that's where the Atlantis vibes come in.
Not from the font on the first cover, though, right?
Yeah.
Now we'll go to some other international covers, because I grabbed some that I thought looked pretty good, and nothing that gets ridiculous, because some international covers do get stuff that just make no sense or just kind of over the top.
You don't want to set us up with expectations of some crazy nonsense and then have us let down from the international ones. Is that it?
No. Kind of like I always like the German cover for the first cover that in Germany for a Game of Thrones, just because it just looks like somebody had just a generic fantasy picture already made and just slapped it on the cover.
Is that the one with the buff guy on the horse? That one?
Yeah, the
fighting a bunch of fucking wolves.
Yeah, the guy looked like Conan the Barbarian fighting wolves.
Yeah, I'd be so disappointed if I picked it up thinking I was going to read that and got instead a totally different but good book.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that totally happened. That's Jon Snow.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
All right. So this will be the UK cover of Elantris.
Oh, that's modern. This one looks like a freaking 90s comic cover. Got a silhouetted lady with hair exploding backwards, walking towards a castle door with a bunch of green mist coming out.
Yeah, it's very graphic, this one is.
What, you said this was UK?
Yes.
Is this what they like over there? Like,
yeah.
I don't
you gotta have a better explanation than me of this cover.
I thought it looked like the Wicked musical cover for a sec, but I really like the. It's like a charcoal drawing almost. It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The buildings are again the same, like very spirally, very like architectural. So for me, that's I keep saying it, but if it's more sci-fi than fantasy, which is
Well,
you
no,
got to think of the technology of the time.
this one
Like
got
these are
castles
just such cut buildings, huh?
they got castles like
What
this in real life from back in the day. It's just like Gothic
they do,
architecture.
but yeah, it's a little bit.
On this one, the first one, not really Gothic-y. That one would be more. I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, I would like it. I think it makes it really unique and stuff.
Well, they probably got magic to build this stuff too. I would guess
That's
most fantasy.
true.
has
That's true.
magic.
Yeah,
Also, these are
but
just covers. What's that?
like in Witcher, well, elves always like sing their buildings. Oh, I also read Aragon. I forgot to say that. I count that too.
I'm sure we'll
But
figure
they
out. Yeah.
sing their buildings into being with their magic, and it's usually more organic and nature based. So,
Mm,
yeah,
that's very interesting. I did not know that.
this is definitely different than anything I've seen before.
Mm.
All right. So
These
next will
look like
be the
three different books, like three completely different stories based
Yeah,
on
they
these
do all
covers.
feel different.
all right. Well, next we'll go with the Polish cover. I thought this would look pretty good.
Ooh, classy.
Okay. Okay. This feels a lot more. We've got a man in or a knight, I guess, with armor, red armor, like a red helmet he's holding, and a sword, chainmail hood, or yeah, chainmail hood with a big castle in the back. Oh, this is very fantasy like.
So that's two covers and a guy with red armor. So I'm assuming that will be a thing.
Yeah, I dig
Frickin' Dracula.
it. Dracula Knight would be very cool.
Well, oh, you got to watch the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie to see how he dresses back in the past.
Like this?
What's no, crazier than this.
Mm.
But yes, the armor looks very cool on this cover.
All right.
It looks like
So
the
next will
Polish know how
be
to do it.
this will be the 10th anniversary Spanish cover.
Ooh,
Oh, he is
it looks
Dracula.
like a freaking 2000s movie cover, like Priest or something. You got a badass giant red cloak crouching on a building like frickin' Spawn with
Or Underworld.
yeah, every movie cover from that time looked like that. But yeah, this one looks totally different than the other ones. Guy, white haired
Yeah.
dude crouching. Yeah,
I'm
that's
also
a very
getting
big marker.
Assassin's Creed vibes here too.
And then
Crucio.
this will be the 10th anniversary Spanish. This was a limited cover, I guess.
Ooh, I like
Oh,
this.
cool.
Yeah, a woman in a white dress that's covered with blood spatters. Well, just daintily covered in, and is holding a sword. Very pretty.
I'll assume that's the same woman as on the first cover, if that red armored guy, who I assume is this cape guy, and that looks like blonde woman are a thing. That's my prediction there.
Yeah.
But these
The
were both
fashion is very
these
interesting.
kind of look like what's that?
I said the fashion is very interesting of the gown.
I wouldn't trust fashion on a cover though. I mean,
Well, sometimes they try to get the feeling of the clothes style.
yeah. These two covers look like they were meant to go together. Like for
Oh.
hardcore collectors.
Oh yeah, same artist, I'm sure.
Like I said, they're both the 10th anniversary Spanish one.
Edición Ex Aniversario. I see it. And Definitiva de la Tour. I have no idea what edition, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like if you look at the English version, it's 10th anniversary author's definitive edition.
Oh, I see. I see.
All right.
Or
Oh, sorry.
We'll just have two more. They're both the Hungarian covers. Hungary, it looks like they split the book up into two, which, some places will do that with fantasy. And even here, like some bigger fantasy books get split up. As I know, some printings of like Dance with Dragons and Storm of Swords was in 2 volumes instead of 1.
Wish that's what they do for, like Bone that's too big and always breaks in half. Every copy I've ever seen.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this will be the first of the Hungarian covers.
Well, that's total
Wow.
left turn.
Yeah.
Now we got
Looks like he's doing a You go.
No, what were you gonna say?
Just a Doctor Strange type thing going on
Yeah.
with the magic that he's doing, like the circle.
Yeah. No, with the little ring sling thing.
Mhm.
This guy is bald with a little beard thing doing some Doctor Strange magic, as Sheta said. He is not dressed as classily as the red armored guy, but we got the same kind of fantasy, I don't know, kind of like Greekish architecture in the background of this. What country you say this was? Hungary?
This is Hungary, yeah.
Hungary, yeah. Magic orb flying. Yeah, this is a totally different cover.
Yeah, I feel like the magic and stuff in here is gonna be a more video game like than like it's like Tolkien type magic or Aragon magic. Like
Wasn't Tolkien magic more vague and stuff? I have no idea how Aragon.
yeah, I just mean like fantasy magic's a little more vague, and this is more like power balls and sparks and things, So
Just from the
that's
orbs
gonna
on
be
this
interesting.
cover. I guess you got orbs on this cover too.
Mhm.
So I assume orbs will be a big part of this book, based on those 2 covers.
Right.
Yeah, but it was only on 2 out of like 10 covers, so
So a red
And
guy
then-
in armor shooting orbs with a chick next to him. That's my assumption so far.
Right. And then this
And
will
we
be the
have this
last of the
guy.
ones.
Yeah, I'm this bald guy. Go on, Joe.
This will be the last of the Hungarian covers.
Mhm.
All right.
Maybe different, maybe a different character, but maybe the same
Well, describe
woman
it.
in the white dress. We have
Yeah.
a woman holding a sword with fantasy type clothes on, a dress with cool leather corset and gauntlets in front of the same architectural buildings.
Exact same background, I think.
Same place.
Yeah, you're right.
But,
Sheta. These ones. Was that?
Oh,
These
just
ones
the
do-
same magic behind her.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. But this one's behind her. The other guy had it in front of him. So maybe he's standing behind her, writing this on the back of her head.
Yeah.
But you're right. These 2 do look more like video game covers.
I wonder if there's going to be a lot of combat in here.
Yeah, we've had
Yes.
swords on a couple.
Yeah. But like magical combat.
Is there a fantasy series you can think of that doesn't really have any combat that's popular?
I mean, like, there's always a war, some kind of great war, but like, I meant fighting, like, like
You really
Like
think
video
you're about
game
to read
fighting.
Dragon Ball, don't you?
yeah. Maybe there's a tournament. I don't know.
I highly doubt that.
I don't think a Feast for Crows really didn't have that much combat.
Not an individual book. I mean more a series where combat is not a major factor. Like where it's just about a miller living in the middle of nowhere doing nothing.
I mean, you could say, well, in the books, like Harry Potter is just not a combat. It's not about fighting until the
True.
end, you know?
You consider Harry Potter fantasy in the same way as a lot of the other series you referenced, since it's based in our world in the present day, Because
Oh, yeah. Well, Hobbit. The Hobbit wasn't really combat-y. They like have to fight to survive, but they're not like
They fight a dragon.
yeah, but
Bilbo
Bilbo
the Hobbit
doesn't.
doesn't fit, right?
Yeah. Bilbo just
Yeah.
kind of goes along.
The end of the book has a battle really called the Battle of the 5 Armies.
Do you see it in
Yeah,
the book?
that's what I mean. Like, no,
You see about half the battle.
Do you? Okay.
the
So there's
first 10
combat.
minutes, I feel like.
That's still combat.
You see it until the eagles show up. then you just get told, "Oh yeah, it was a great battle. Sorry you missed it, Bilbo."
I'm sure Bilbo
No, I'm
was good.
talking combat where characters like train and fight like anime style, you know? Like it seems like it's all about fighting.
This is from 2005. That would be before anime corrupted our culture.
Corrupted or enhanced.
I think it depends on whose work you're reading after that. Because I
Oh,
definitely did.
Dragon Ball became popular here in the late 90s.
Yep. So you'd
2000,
have that.
2005 would be right in the middle of when Naruto was popular.
Yeah, but where was
Mhm.
Brandon Sanderson in the late 90s? He said he was off doing missionary work. I doubt he was watching much Dragon Ball.
He was in Korea.
Which Korea?
No, he's a Naruto fan.
He's not a big like manga anime person.
I wouldn't assume.
All right, so looking at all these covers, what's your plot summary of what this book will be about?
Mm.
I
Me-
I've got a pretty strong plot summary. I think this dude in red is a badass warrior who travels the lands, and this blonde lady is some kind of royalty who's also badass, and they do all kinds of magic involving orbs, and they fight this bald guy doing the Witcher magic. That's my plot synopsis. What do you got, Sheta? Oh, and somebody turns into some kind of corrupted zombie thing at some point. There you go.
Ooh. Well, that's
Oh yeah, that's a $1
okay.
million book right there. If that's not what I read, I'll write it myself.
Well, I hope it's going to be a love triangle between red armor guy, the woman in the white dress, and the bald monk guy.
Why do you think he's a monk?
Well, monks are bald sometimes, and he's got some kind of robes on.
Yeah, but he's
And I
not
guess
bald.
I'm still,
Balding.
huh?
He's not bald. He's balding. What monk chooses to have the donut look?
Hey, he, he. Well, I don't know what the monks look like in this world.
Oh, okay.
Then let
Okay,
me
sure.
finish my theories.
All right.
Yeah, they all went to school together to learn this magic. That's where they fell in love. Yep. And I think the corridors are going to be like, I feel like we're going to spend a lot of time in these buildings because they're prominent in every cover. So
It's true.
maybe
They're
that's
gonna
like the Hogwarts of this world.
Oh, shit. No.
All right, so Sheeta, with the love triangle, are both the guys going to be good guys, or is one going to be a clear dick that you want to root against, and one will be the clear good guy that you want to root for?
They both have the different vibes. I feel like they're both kind of can be dicks and be nice. It's going to be a complicated love triangle because, yeah, they'll both have their good and bad sides. It looks like.
I
All right.
like how you've turned this into a love triangle when this guy's only on one cover.
It might be the crackly guy too on the audiobook.
I like that, Sheta. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Sabo, he might have given into his dark side though from this
So
cover.
I don't think the red armor guy's gonna do magic because he's not doing anything magical on any cover.
I don't know. That cloak looks pretty magical on that one cover.
Only on the Spawn cover.
Yeah. Plus, he might have a different kind of magic, like
We'll read this.
parkour.
There is no magic in the entire book.
Anything
Okay,
else that
John,
either
let's
of you,
go to. Oh God.
anything else that you two want to talk about with these covers of the book, or what you're expecting, either expecting from this or expecting from the whole Cosmere?
I'm expecting a lot of world building if it's the Cosmere and it's so big and shit. Like, I have no idea if the books are direct sequels or if it's spin-offs or things tied together. I really don't know, but I expect world building out the wazoo and hopefully characters I am invested in.
Mm,
But all the covers,
yeah,
sorry, Shane, all the covers are very character based, or they've all got people up front instead of just like vague symbols and stuff like that.
Oh, you're asking what
No,
we
what were you going to say?
expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing about the characters. I'm surprised that we can kind of guess like who's gonna be prominent in there. So I do wonder that if we're gonna follow these characters throughout the whole series or not. Or maybe just this first book, since this is just the covers for the first book. But yeah, it seems like it's gonna be very big.
Yeah, if he writes 24/7.
Yeah, I don't know. How many books are we up for?
I don't want to know that.
Do you want to know?
I don't want
Me?
to know.
I do
All
want
right.
to know.
I'll just plug my ears then.
Oh, I need a count.
Okay.
Well, let me know when you're about to say. Joe counts 3 books.
Yeah, I want to know what I'm signing up for here.
It's like 75 bucks,
Oh my god, the rest of my life.
and you'll hate every single one.
All right. You know what? I'll just say a lot.
Well,
A lot of books, and also a lot of short stories and novellas thrown in as well.
He lost count
wow.
at about 205.
Yeah. Well, I've never read anything with that much stuff, I guess. Oh, I mean, book-wise.
And there's
Most book
still more
series.
coming.
Wow.
There's one new one coming out this December.
Well, I hope I really like it.
You say nervously.
Now we'll look at what we'll be reading for next week. So I set up these parts. If it turns out to be too much, we can always edit later episodes to be not as long. So the first one we'll be reading, with the prologue up through chapter 5.
Okay.
Prologue to 5? Okay.
Yep, prologue. The prologue, in all honesty, it's really short. In fact, I think the back of the book is literally the prologue.
Through 5, did you say? Or to 5?
Yeah, through chapter 5.
All right.
Okay. Wow, I feel like I'm in school again.
Yeah.
Are we gonna take a test?
We'll need you to write a report talking about the themes of this. What does
Basically.
Piggy's glasses represent?
All right. I hope you're ready for an AI book report, Joe.
Well, it's up to the if anybody does listen to this, it's up to them to grade it.
Read it? Oh.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap up this episode of Cosmere Chronicles. So if anybody out there is reading along with us, like we said, Elantris prologue, and then chapters 1 through 5. So my name's Joe, and along with these other two, if they want to say,
my name is Justin,
And Sheta.
and we'll see you next week. But thank you.
Bye-bye.